as all of us know, is as Rich Mullins, songwriter, said, "There's bound to come some trouble to your life, but that ain't nothing to be afraid of. There's bound to come some trouble to your life, but that ain't no reason to fear." We're all going to address things like job loss, the loss of a loved one, a health scare, and how do we get through it? We can decide to just buck up and face it on our own, or we can reach out to a support network and not have to go it alone. So what I'm going to talk about today is what I experienced in going through a health scare with cancer and how important my support network was to me. And as a business developer, I have built a professional network over the time I've been in the research business, and it's invaluable in that realm. It's also invaluable in the personal realm. So for me, the health crisis was prostate cancer. My father died 31 years ago from prostate cancer that was not detected early enough and metastasized, and he ended up succumbing to cancer, prostate cancer. So when I first learned about prostate cancer, for me, it was a bit of a scary thing. So just some background about prostate cancer. I won't read all of this, but as a man, I'm 68 years old. As men get into 50 years plus, there's a good chance that you will end up with a diagnosis at some point of prostate cancer. It's very common. It can be lethal, but if caught early, there is a really good prognosis for either arresting it or curing it. And we know that there are men, as you get older, your risk increases. And there are also some groups, African American and Caribbean men of African ancestry, are more affected than others, but it is something very common. And so part of the reason I say that is for men, if you're not getting your PSA tested regularly, please do so. It's an easy blood test and it can save your life. So what did my treatment journey look like? So back in 2017, I had an elevated PSA. So you're looking for if you regularly see a doctor, for me, it was just my general practitioner. I would get a PSA blood draw every 6 months. And for a long time, it was in the normal range. But back in 2017, it began to be elevated. And once it was elevated to a certain level, my GP referred me to a urologist. So I went to see the urologist. So at that initial diagnosis, I really wanted to build a foundation for support. And for me, it started with my wife. She's always first and will always be my closest supporter. So I certainly brought her in. I have 2 children. I let them know what was going on. I'm very involved in a church, so I brought in my pastor. And I brought in a small group of close friends. I call them 3 guys. There were 3 different guys I knew that had also been dealing with prostate cancer. So we had something in common, and among men, we could share details that we all felt comfortable with because we were going through similar situations. And then certainly my urologist and general practitioner. So I began to have this core foundation of a support network. And as my treatment journey moved ahead, the next step was a biopsy. So to actually confirm that the PSA is detecting cancer, oftentimes the next step is a biopsy. And so as you can see here, on the chart, I started with 1 biopsy. A couple years later, the second one, a couple years after that, I had an MRI and an MRI-guided biopsy, which provides a little bit more exactness in where they're going to sample cells in the prostate based on what they're seeing in the MRI. So I had 2 of those. And all during this time, I was in what we call active surveillance. And this is a term that says, that means basically we know that there is some risk, but we're not at a point where we need to treat yet. So we're just going to keep an eye on it. We're going to do these biopsies to detect how much cancer is in the prostate, and then also do PSAs to see how those levels are changing over time. So at the first biopsy, that did mean I actually was confirmed that I did have cancer. And so I kind of began adding to my support network. I have a close friend and neighbor who is really willing to talk about any kind of health issue, including sensitive topics like prostate cancer. He was an invaluable friend. And then I talked to church friends, especially some of the older guys at church that were also kind of in that risk group. Just a broader group of friends. And I began bringing a few close coworkers and talked to them about it. And then I also have three sisters and brothers-in-law because we all shared um, prostate cancer that my dad had. I brought them in. So I began to build a stronger support network and a little bit bigger. And then we finally moved in, I guess it was November of 23. My PSA number kept going up. My urologist said, I don't want to do another biopsy. I think we're at a point where we need to treat. So then it became really real. At this active surveillance stage, I'm kind of like, yeah, we're just kind of watching this, and hopefully it won't materialize into anything I have to deal with more substantially. But to that point, and so I had to look at treatment options. The two primary ones were either radiation treatment or a radical removal of the prostate. I decided after a lot of research and discussion to go with the radiation treatment. So now I'm actually in a point where treatment is beginning. So now the sense of urgency is really hitting me. So I brought in a bigger group of people. I regularly attend a Bible study on Wednesday nights. I have a group of friends to support me in prayer and a broader set of church friends. My wife has also a lot of friends that are very spiritual, well-connected. We brought them in, even a broader group of friends, some more key coworkers were brought in. And then especially key in this was a great team of medical professionals that I had at Northside Hospital here in Atlanta, a physician's assistant who was like a walking encyclopedia about prostate cancer, gave me so much confidence and information. I had great nurses and great therapists who actually administered the radiation. And the actual kind of treatment I had was a combination therapy treatment. It meant for 25 weekdays over a 5-week period, I would go in for a radiation treatment, and it looks kind of like this machine on the left. It rotates around you. It takes all of about 10 minutes to get the radiation into you, and it's very exact with the of equipment that they have today. It's a very precise procedure. That was the relatively easy part. Brachytherapy is, and I won't go into great detail, you kind of get a glimpse of what's going on here in the picture. Sorry, it's a little graphic. Brachytherapy is a treatment where little catheters are inserted into the prostate and high dosage radiation seeds are implanted, radiated, and then removed. And that's a half-day outpatient procedure. So all of that was designed to create enough radiation in my prostate to kill the cancer cells, keep them from reproducing, but to hopefully salvage what I needed to live a healthy and functional life. So during that time, support came in many ways. On a personal level, just people checking in. The more people I brought in, the more people checked in with me. How are you doing? Are you feeling good? How's the treatment going? All those kinds of things. Prayers, very important for me. Just lots of encouragements. I got cards from a number of folks and regular calls. So all of those kinds of things just kept me very positive and very focused on getting through this. On a professional level, I also had coworkers checking in. I had great support from SCIM where they provided coverage while I was out. They gave me flexibility. So during this time, it was about 6 or 7 weeks in total, I was able to work 5 hours a day and take off 3 hours a day. Did not lose any vacation time or pay during that time. I felt incredibly blessed because of that. Good healthcare coverage. My out-of-pocket costs were relatively little. And then when it was all said and done, SCIM sent me this nice big basket of fruit to say, congratulations, you made it through. So during that whole time, I just felt lifted up. I felt like I was getting so much positive reinforcement that it really helped me, especially as radiation treatment goes on, you begin to feel fatigued. You have some temporary side effects. All of that was mitigated by the constant support that I was getting. So really, my needs were fulfilled in a lot of different ways, spiritually through my church family and friends, financially through SCIM support, socially through friends and family, and medically through a terrific healthcare team and friends. So my situation is, what I'm about because I've got a close network in my church and in my family. Not everybody has that. So you may need to look elsewhere. Where is your social network? Where can you bring in people to support you when you're going through something like that? It's going to be different for everybody. I'll just say, without support, it could have looked like this. Luckily, I look more like this than that. There's a lot of giving and taking going through the journey. In terms of giving, it was this idea of being very open, being very vulnerable, being very appreciative. My thought was, I'm going to be very transparent about what's going on. Prostate cancer is kind of a sensitive subject for some people, but I thought I'd rather be transparent, let people know what's going on, and maybe try to destigmatize it. And also to encourage people that are going through treatment to be open about it. Not everybody's comfortable with that. I was, so it was fine with me. In terms of taking encouragement from people, taking questions, and listening to a lot of stories. So there was a lot of give and take in that whole support journey or treatment journey in this support network. 6 weeks, down the road after I started, it was all over. We did a bell ringing ceremony, which is something a lot of cancer centers do. You get to ring the bell when you're finished your treatment. That's my wife and daughter with me, and that's my great team at Northside Hospital who supported me through this. And we really grew close. I tried to make my visits as much fun as possible. It's hard to do that when you're going through radiation treatment. But we had a good time together, and you can see all of those smiles were very genuine. And when it was all over, after that bell ringing ceremony, I celebrated with the best ice cream I think I ever had. And so topped it off with a nice little outing with my wife and daughter. But it doesn't end there. So serial reciprocity is a term that really just means pay it forward. I feel like having gone through this, having such great support, it really reminded me how important that is to support others. And interestingly, a brother-in-law and a good work friend of mine are both going through prostate cancer right now, and I'm able to take what I learned and support and encourage them. So I think it's important that you get through something like this. You don't just end there, but you give back. And coming full circle, today sharing this story with you all is a way just to say it's important to have that support network. I don't know how I would have gotten through this without it. It really made it a lot easier than I ever imagined it could be. And it's also important to be that person for someone who's going through this themselves. So with that, I'll end it, and we've got a few questions for our discussion.